It is only 5 years working capacity of a particular satellite. So we fix everything in that remote sensor system, and it is all digital, no? So everything is fixed in that satellite. So 5 years only its capacity means after 5 years what happened? The fuel and whatever it is filled in the satellite will go over, and satellite slowly fall into the sea. We will direct the satellite after accomplishment of that particular target. We can make the satellite to come back to earth and fall into the sea. Usually we allow them to fall into the sea, because by the time its fuel got over, its target achieved, and we will return. So like that, every yearly we are launching the satellites, but it is not heard. We won't be knowing every time. But we have heard recently PSLV-1, PSLV-2. What are all these things? So they told PSLV failed like that and all. They are the vehicle which carry the satellite to launch. Okay, PSLV-1, PSLV-2. These are the vehicles, space shuttle or space craft, which will carry a particular satellite or rocket, and it will launch in the outer orbit. Once you achieved, they will return back to the space center. Only satellite will be rotated around it. So PSLV and all not satellite, it is the vehicle which we carry. Okay, and some of the PSLV is able to carry the missile for our war purpose, okay, battle purpose. So like that, different satellites we have. So for each and every satellite, we have to achieve a particular orbital velocity. Otherwise, what happens? We may not able to launch it in a proper place. Or instead of launching a proper place, there's a chances of satellite as falling back to a place where the people are living. A crowded place, crowded street, it may fall. Then once it fall back, what will happen? It's a complete distraction. You know how much ton of fuel it is carrying. Majority liquid hydrogen, nitrogen, these are the fuel we fill into it. And you just imagine this type of fuel, if a satellite do not achieve its target, and if it is about to fall on a crowded street or a Delhi, something like that, the distraction is enormous. Okay, so that is why we have to achieve a particular orbital velocity. So last class we were discussing how can you derive that equation, how can you find that orbital velocity mathematically for every object which is moving out of the space, out of the surface of the earth. Clear? So that's it. So let us now go back to that one. So these are the derivation. Escape velocity, last derivation we have learned. So I'm just rewinding for the revising for the people those are absent. So these are the beginning of shooting a satellite or something. First it will take first orbit, it will go fall back to earth again. So as we going on increasing energy, slowly it will achieve and it will go outer space. So that is how, not just like we are sending at a one stretch to the satellite. No, not in one day we are doing it. You know it, when Chandrayaan, Mangalayaan and all this were there, they're telling first stage is completed, third stage completed, fourth stage is completed. You must have read in the newspaper. Now it is going to the final stage. Final stage only will tell you whether we achieved or not. Okay, so up to that final stage, it is very tensed mood. We are in under tension, the scientists, everyone. Even we able to keep the satellite here, we are not achieved, we are not reached up to the goal. So these all are different stage you launch the satellites. Okay, so within one day we don't do all these things, slowly, and you just imagine. So that is what. So orbital velocity is the velocity required to put the satellite into its orbit. Not only satellite, any object, missile, whatever it may be. Clear? And we reached up to here. This is the last line. We reached up to here. I think everyone has completed this much. That is, orbital velocity VO is equal to we are getting a combination, because we know the satellites, everyone is rotating around the earth, they have directed towards the center, so that is centripetal force. So we have equated centripetal force with the gravitational force equation at a particular height. And after that, from this, after doing the cross multiplication, 1 r plus h got cancelled, and finally you are getting v0 square gm divided by r plus h. Therefore, orbital velocity VO is equal to square root of gm divided by r plus h. Okay. Now, you can just write it. Suppose those who completed up to here, you can write it down. Assume h is very much less than, assume h is very much less than radius of the earth. Assume h is very much less than radius of the earth. Then we assume h is very negligible. Therefore, orbital velocity is equal to square root of gm by r. We consider h is negligible, so it turned to 0. We assume like that. Then finally, you are getting orbital velocity is equal to square root of gm by capital R. So this is one equation. Suppose you know the radius of the earth, you know the radius of the mass of the earth, you can find out how much is the velocity of orbital, can calculate from this. 10. Those who completed now?
Ma'am?
Yes, Achyut.
Ma'am, can you tell again how like root of gm by r plus h became root of gm by r?
Assume h is very much less than capital R. Assume
Okay.
h. Okay. Put two smaller signs. H smaller than R. Assume h is very much smaller than R. So h will be tends to, so h will be tends to 0. Then you can write VO is equal to square root of gm by r. So this put in the box. Then now we are going to get the same equation in terms of acceleration due to gravity. Okay. So below that we already have learned. We have g is equal to gm by r square. We have small letter g is equal to gm by r square. Therefore, capital GM is equal to small g into r square. For capital GM is equal to, just cross multiply, you get capital GM is equal to small g r square. Substitute that in that equation, VO. Substitute value of GM in that equation. So when you substitute, we will get VO is equal to GR square by R, and 1 R got cancelled, and finally we are getting another equation, that is orbital velocity in terms of acceleration due to gravity into radius of the earth. That is square root of G into capital R. Now, next one, relation connecting escape velocity VE and orbital velocity orbital velocity of satellite VO. We can connect this same equation with the escape velocity. So already we have derived. We have escape velocity VE is equal to square root of 2gr. We have escape velocity VE is equal to square root of 2gr. And if you split to this, you can write it square root of 2 into square root of gr. And what is that? Square root of gr. Square root of gr is the orbital velocity of a satellite. Thus, we are able to get a connection, that is escape velocity is equal to root 2 into orbital velocity VO. If you multiply the orbital velocity with the square root of 2, you will get the answer for escape velocity also. So this is the relation connecting escape velocity. So escape velocity from the earth actually equal to square root of 2 into orbital velocity of an earth satellite. So that is the conclusion we get it from this. Now, after finding the velocity, we can also find out the time period. See, like geostationary and all, we are using for daily basis. Daily basis means daily weather forecasting, daily the amount of rainfall in a particular land, amount of snowfall in Himachal Pradesh. So like that, and how you get this data on daily basis. How in the news channels will be able to broadcast the chances of rain or chances of summer, chances of the hot sun, chances of windfall. All this with the help of the satellite communication. That is what we call for satellite communication. So if you want to get that satellite communication on a daily basis, on a regular basis at a particular time, morning, afternoon, evening. This is the time usually the news channel will send the forecast. All the news channel. Morning news, they will give you one data. Afternoon news, they will give you another data, and evening news, another data, because sun is changing, sun is moving. According to that, there's a changes in temperature, changes in the humidity, pressure, all that. So in that cases, we have to get a daily basis. What we have to do? We have to set a satellite according to the 24-hour time. Earth is, we have day and night, 24 hours. Similarly, the satellite which we are launching should also has 24-hour time limit. Then only we will able to get. That means if you look at from the earth, if you are able to see a satellite from our location, you should see that earth location and satellite location should be same. It should be in a straight line. Then only at 1:30, what is the weather now? Nowadays, we are getting a chill, little bit. Wind is coming, cold. We are feeling cold by 5 o'clock. The moment we leave the school, we feel little bit cold in our atmosphere in this area, maybe because of high mountain area like that and all. So how can you find out at this time? Now it is 1:30 p.m. At this time, you have to find out what is the temperature or what is the climate condition. So the satellite and the earth at this particular location should be in a straight line. Should be in a straight line means at the same position at the same time. Then only we will get a accurate data regarding this. Okay, so for that, what we should know? We should able to calculate the time period. What is the time period of a satellite? If I want to launch a satellite, how much time it should rotate the earth in order to get a particular data? So for that, what we do? The scientists, space aeronautical engineering, and that people, space astrophysics department, They will have to calculate the time period of each satellite before launching. So that is what we are going to learn now. From the same equation, we can find out, because already we found out the orbital velocity. So the same thing what I'm going to say, that we already know what is orbital usual velocity. What is the equation of a simple velocity in mechanics? V is equal to V is equal to motion in one dimension. Can you tell me equation? Velocity is equal to rate of change of something. What is that? For chapter 1 motion, chapter, what is the equation for a velocity of a moving body? Tell me, anyone? V is equal to first one, motion in one dimension. You have learned initial velocity, final velocity. How do you calculate that? Tell me that.
U plus AT.
That is V is equal to U plus OT. Okay, that's okay. I'm just talking simple velocity. How do you calculate? This is first equation of motion.
Displacement by time.
Displacement. That's what. This is equation of motion. I'm asking you a simple velocity. How do you calculate? That is displacement by time. Displacement means S by time. That is how you are getting equation S is equal to UT plus half AT square. Okay. Here I am not mentioning acceleration. Okay. So V is equal to S by T. Now my question is, in a circular motion, what will be S? S indicate what will be that in a circular motion? In a circular motion, straight line motion, it is easy. You can measure the distance. In circular motion, instead of displacement, what do we measure? Single one. In a circular motion, satellite is moving in a circular path. What will be its displacement? What does it indicate? No, tube light is not there in your head. Symbol one, no children, in a circular path. If you want to walk on a circular path, what will be the displacement?
Based on angle.
No, without angle. Simple, you take the path alone.
Circumference.
Yes, that's what I am asking you. Okay, circumference. So in a circular path, displacement indicate the circumference of the circular path. Similarly, in an orbital velocity, we also can find out by measuring the circular path of a satellite and how much time it takes. Okay, so we can write it down. We have, so next heading, time period. Orbital time period. Orbital time period. So here, instead of small t, we take it the letter capital T. Orbital time period. So what do you mean by time period? In a vibration, you already know. In wave mechanics, sound and all, we have learned. What do you mean by time period? Anyone can tell me what do you mean by time period? What we have learned in sound chapter and all that. What's the definition of a time period? Frequency, amplitude, time period, velocity. We have learned all this. Any idea? How can you define the time period of a satellite? Just you incorporate that concept into this satellite movement, then you will get the answer. Anyone? Others all are silent, sleeping. Gayatri, can you try? Because all videos are off. Can you define the word time period? Anyone? Emmanuel, are you trying to say? Any idea? We have completed so many terms: time period, angular momentum, angular displacement. What do you say?
taken for one revolution.
Yes, one revolution. Very good, Anna. Correct. So here, revolution of what we have to say in the case of satellite? Revolution of whose revolution? Whose time period we are measuring? Whose time period? Orbital time period means we are measuring whose time period? Are we measuring Earth time period or satellite time period? For one complete rotation. Orbital time period indicate whose? Is it satellite or Earth? My question.
Earth.
Satellite. Earth? Okay. Okay, Anna. Who is rotating the Earth, Anna? Who is rotating the Earth? We have natural satellite and artificial satellite. Who is rotating the Earth? Come. No, simple question only, no? Because you need to understand all this, no? So we are calculating the time period of the time period. Someone is sending the answer, okay? Yes, satellite, correct. Okay, so we are measuring the time period of the satellite because satellite is the one which is rotating. Okay, so we are measuring the we are going to measure the time period of the satellite. So what is time period of the satellite? It is the time taken by a satellite. It is the time taken by the satellite. It is the time taken by the satellite to complete one rotation. To complete one rotation around the Earth. One rotation. Okay, how much time it is taken for one rotation? So then below that you write, we already know that velocity of a moving object, we already know that velocity of a moving object is equal to displacement v is equal to s by t in the case of circular path. S is equal to 2 pi r, that is circumference of the Earth, circumference of the circle at which path it is, that is why 2 pi r, small letter r. Thus S is equal to, S means circumference, 2 pi r is equal to v into t, that is velocity into t, or t is equal to 2 pi r by v. So t is equal to 2 pi r by v. In the case of a satellite, time period is equal to t is equal to 2 pi r divided by orbital velocity, distance traveled in one orbit by orbital velocity, or we can write it distance traveled in one orbit. Orbit divided by orbital velocity. That means now going to substitute 2 pi r is equal to square root of gm by, here in the case of satellite, we are substituting capital, not capital R, we are substituting small letter r in the case of this. So time period t is equal to 2 pi r divided by square root of gm by r. Therefore, by squaring, so it is in the square root form, we can square it. Then t square is equal to 4 pi square r square by gm by r. When you square, you are getting gm by r. Next step, take r up, you will get the equation 4 pi square r cube by gm. So once you find out the t square first and then you take the square root of it, you will get the orbital time period. Thus, orbital time period is equal to square root of 4 pi square r cube divided by gm. So instead of directly going to take the square root, first to find out the square, that is more easy, and then you get a single digit, and that you take the square, then you will get the answer. So that is known as orbital time period. So we have completed all the derivations from these chapters. I already told you Kepler's laws are not there in this. So Kepler's 3 laws we are not discussing. Apart from this, everything in that is there. Clear? Now, these are the types of the satellite. It's a short note regarding. There are 2 types of satellites we have. That is, I told you. One we call it as geostationary satellite. The first type of satellite. So already we completed this. Suppose if H is high. I'm coming to the point. Suppose if the height of the satellite is very much greater than radius. Now what we do, what is the changes in the equation? Instead of 2 pi r, we will use the letter r plus h. That is the only difference, capital R plus h. Suppose satellite height is not very much greater than Earth. Earth radius is 6,400. Suppose you are launching a satellite which is more than 6,400. In that cases, what we do? We will add r plus h. Okay. Otherwise, symbol 2 pi r cube or 4 pi square r cube. Otherwise, we substitute, instead of r, we substitute capital R plus h. That is only difference in that. Anyway, we are not going. So now, there are 2 types of satellite. The last topic of it, geostationary satellite and polar satellite. So, a satellite which revolves around the Earth in its equatorial plane. So, the 2 types of satellite we have. One is revolving around the Earth in equatorial plane. It will never come like this. It will never come like this. It always rotates in an elliptical orbit like that, the picture. Okay. A satellite which revolves around the Earth in its equatorial plane with the same angular speed and in the same direction as the Earth rotates about its own axis is called geostationary, or we call it as synchronous satellite. Another word is synchronous. Synchronous means together. Okay, that means Earth is rotating 24 hours. This geostationary satellite also rotates 24 hours. So, whenever you look from any location to the satellite, you feel that this satellite is stationary. That is why the word is known as geostationary. From whichever location you look at the satellite, you feel the satellite is at a rest. Why? Both Earth and satellite are moving at the same speed, at the same time, in the same direction, its own axis. So that is the difference between geostationary. That means it rotates only once. If Earth is rotating 24 hours, geostationary in a day, it will rotate only once. So this is geostationary. The word geo means this is the one we are using for weather forecasting, climatic condition at a different time period, at a different time. At a different time, 1:30, 2:30, 3:30, it has been set. Everything is set in its system. So automatically, just like a computer, it will be sending the pictures, data, graph to the meteorological department. The people, those are working in meteorological department, they will be getting all the data and they will be given to the broadcasting stations to do that. Okay, so this is one of the GSAT. We have many GSAT, around 104 or something is there, but this is the one representation picture of a GSAT. It looks like more or less like this. Everything is there. Camera, video, webcam, everything is there. GSATs will image in multispectral. And what are the features of these GSATs? They will image in multispectral and hyperspectral bands to provide near real-time pictures of large areas of the country under cloud-free condition, frequent intervals, and selected field image. Okay. So I am going to wind up now. Next class, we will wind up the class. Okay. Because I think you have a class now. So I'm going to wind up the session. We will discuss from here to the next period. Okay. Thank you. I'm going to end up.